Welcome to a new update, and as you can see, the YouTube studio is fixed again. We're back in Amsterdam, and that's why we're going to make some updates when it comes to the Bitcoin price action and more. As from now on, we'll be grinding and building this YouTube channel and everything else towards the next level. But before we're going to continue, make sure to subscribe beneath, like this YouTube update, and also check out my Twitter and Instagram, where you can find daily content on the markets. And I'm posting a lot on Twitter, and I also start posting more on Instagram, which is going to be more about my life. Now, when we're looking at the price action of Bitcoin, you might remember the update that I've posted yesterday, where we started to discuss the fact that if I want to buy Bitcoin, this is the level where I want to buy it. And since then, and I'm currently looking at the screen, we have been seeing a pretty nice upwards move. We are up around 4 to 5%, but even more important, we are seeing a bullish divergence, which is marking a potential low. We're seeing a bearish divergence on the dollar. So are we actually going to see some continuation on the market in itself? Probably we are. So we're going to discuss some very important levels to discuss on the Bitcoin in this update. And we're also going to look at Ethereum and the dollar to see if we are actually going to see continuation and which levels we have to look at when it comes to the Bitcoin price action. So let's keep it quite short and head towards the actual market price action, as that is even more important than me doing an introduction. Let's go. Alright, so when we're looking at the price action of Bitcoin, we have been clearly stating that there was a very important level to watch, which is this entire 38k level. This 38k level is the one that I want to see sustained, given that there are so many lows beneath us that we actually have to avoid breaking down, because if we're going to break all these lows, we are probably going to make new lower lows, and then I'm looking at 30k. So in this case, we had to bounce here, and we also did do that in a pretty decent way, as we've got this bullish engulfing candle and massive bounce throughout the day yesterday, resulting into a test of 41k again. Looking at the lower time frames, we can clearly see that this block here held up. We've also been taking the lows here, as we can result ourselves into a nice sweep of the lows, higher candle volume, so the liquidity was taken there, resulting into this big move upwards. So this bullish divergence is clearly the level that I'm looking at for support at this stage, or at least continuation upwards. As when we're looking at Ether against USDT, we had a beautiful bearish divergence resulting into this mark south, and we also see a bullish divergence on Ether right now, resulting in this upwards momentum here. Second, if we look at Ether against USDT, we can see that with this bearish divergence, a big impulse started and only a minimal corrective move before we started to continue moving downwards even more. So when we're looking at Bitcoin against USD, there are a few scenarios. This is the bullish scenario, in which we can clearly conclude that we are making ourselves, or that we are running back up. So we've had this range construction that we were acting in. We've got this fake out here too, in which the price actually dropped back into the range. The price actually rejected the previous resistance here too, and therefore started to nosedive some more, taking the liquidity here before reversing. So in this case, you don't want to see the price action of Bitcoin dropping back into the range, because when it drops back into the range, it gets a Bart Simpson pattern, and then I do not see the level at 39.2 really hold up as support. But if we drop back into the range, the lower bound of this range at 39.2 is definitely the area that I want to look at for longs. If this entire block is lost, then I'm assuming that we're going to lose these lows here, and then I'm going to assume that we're going to drop back towards maybe even sub 30k, as we're going to sweep all those lows. So the first scenario is we're dropping beneath this range high, get towards 39.2, but then ultimately I'm thinking that I'm getting convinced that we're going to get ourselves into new lows. The bullish scenario, on the other hand, is the fact that we're holding back above this range high, which is, let's say 40.3 or 40.2 to 40.5. that is going to hold up, and then we can see ourselves in bullish continuation, in which we are going to sweep this recent high. And by sweeping this recent high, the next two targets are defined here, which are 42.3 and 43.1. I think that the chances of getting towards these resistance zones are not too bad. I think that we're actually going to have one of those scenarios resulting into some upwards momentum, and then have a pretty normal standard 10% correction before we can continue, because the dollar index is showing weakness at this stage. The candle is also making a bearish divergence here. So if this is going to push downwards on the lower time frames, I'm assuming that the higher time frames bearish divergences are going to get confirmed. Crucial barrier for the dollar is the level or the block around 100.6. If this level is going to give ourselves a breakdown, I'm assuming that we're going to nosedive even more as we are taking these lows here. And by nosediving, I'm saying that we're expecting a drop towards 99.6, and that's going to be as harsh as we can see here. And such a drop is going to result into strength on Bitcoin. Looking at Ethereum, pretty much the same. Still inside the range though, so Bitcoin is a little bit stronger at this point. If we're going to hold above 2970, I'm going to assume that this is also going to test 3200, or maybe even a new range high at 3290. So ultimately, the markets are looking good, the markets are looking fine. I'm assuming that we're going to get continuation on the Bitcoin price action here. I'm assuming that we're going to have some more upwards momentum if the dollar is going to reverse. And if there is not upwards momentum, 39.4 is the area that I'm looking at for support if we're dropping back into the range. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe beneath. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter and Instagram as well. I'll be back tomorrow with a fresh new update. Probably I'm going to get my mic fixed then too, and then everything is fine. Don't do stupid shit. Enjoy your life. Don't FOMO into the markets, and I'll see you again tomorrow. Ciao.